How's everybody doing? My name is Bobby Sneed, and this is my testimony. So I'm 35, and I'm thinking to myself, man, it's been a good 35 years. I've had some ups and I've had some down days. I've had some days I wanted to cry. I've had some days I wanted to laugh. And through it all, I can say that I'm thankful for every experience. So here's my testimony, and here's why I'm so passionate about relationships. Because somebody asked me, why am I so passionate about relationships? Well, in 2003, I got married. And I really thought, I really felt in my heart I was ready. I really believed I was ready. And what I discovered was I wasn't ready. I was immature. I didn't know what it meant to be a husband, and so I didn't do well in that area. Now there were some things I did well, and there's some things I didn't do well. But it's about being consistent, and it's about being prepared. And I think that you have to really look at yourself, and you have to take responsibility for your shortcomings. So two years later, divorce. But what's interesting is that 2 years after I was divorced, I was sitting at my kitchen table. I bought a house after we were divorced, and I'm sitting at my kitchen table, and I asked God a question. I asked God, why didn't our marriage work? And it's like I heard this voice tell me that, well, the reason why the marriage didn't work was because you never became a husband. Now, that kind of threw me for a loop, because I thought once I got married, that automatically defaulted me into a husband. But I could hear God say, no, that's not how it works. You were just a married man. And initially, I wanted to blame her for a lot of the things and a lot of the reasons why our relationship didn't work. I was not willing to look at myself. I was not willing to take responsibility for my actions, for my erroneous thinking. And so, I was really in denial. And I think a lot of people are in denial about where they are and who they are. And it's not until you begin to accept responsibility for who you are and what you're doing that you can really move forward, and you can really be healed from a lot of baggage that you may have. See, I discovered that in my own personal life, even after I was divorced, there were relationships that I was involved in, and things kept happening that were happening when I was married. And the reason was because even though I may have known that I needed to make a change, I still had not made a change. I was still growing. And you begin to look back over some of those relationships, and you notice certain patterns about yourself. And you're thinking, man, wow, look what I did in this situation. Look how silly I was, or look at this bonehead decision that I made based on fear. I discovered that a lot of the reasons and a lot of the issues that I had were based on fear, insecurity. A lot of the things that I dealt with lack of self-confidence. And it was because I had these inner battles with sin that I had not addressed. And I think a lot of people are like that. We deal with so much, we're inundated with so much from this culture. And if you're not careful, it can begin to build up in your life, in your spiritual life. And so my spiritual life was lacking. I was making all these foolish errors in my judgment. Just wasn't living a healthy life. And relationship after relationship didn't seem to work out for me. And I had to look at myself. I had to take responsibility that, you know what, there's some things that I'm doing that are not healthy. And I've got to change that. And my mentor told me, he said, you know what, in order for things to change for you, you have to change. Otherwise, things won't change. And he said, the major key to a successful relationship is you and the other person. You got to be willing to change. And so as I approach 36, because I'm 35, I have a new mentality, a new mindset. Man, I've hurt a lot of people, and I've been hurt. And you can learn from that. You can learn from your past. You can learn from it in a way where you can become a better person. Let your past be a teacher, not a club to keep beating yourself up over the head with about what could have happened or what should have happened. Analyze the past, look at it, embrace it. let it touch you, but don't let it kill you. Keep moving forward. Keep working on yourself. This is a never-ending process. And I think about certain people that when our paths crossed, where I was and who I was and the way I thought and the way I felt and the kind of decisions I made at that particular point in my life. And now I can see, wow, I've made some improvements by refining my thinking, refining my feelings, looking at why was I feeling this way? Why was I doing some of the stupid things that I was doing? Why did I allow certain fears to motivate me to do things that I don't normally or wouldn't normally do? I mean, you got to look at those things. I think deep down inside, we want to be successful. We want to have a successful relationship. We want to grow with that one person. We want to have a fulfilled life. But I think it starts with recognizing, where am I today? Where am I today? And where do I want to go tomorrow? And what is it going to take? And looking at the results from yesterday and comparing the results to your mentality. If you want a different lifestyle, you have to have a different mentality. And so, for me, the reason why I wrote Marriage It's in Your Hands is because I wanted to help people not make some of the same mistakes I made. I wanted to help people to look at themselves and to recognize that marriage truly can be a beautiful thing if you become the right person. I really feel like if you become the right person, you'll attract the right person. I think that when two people come together, they should come together because together they can accomplish more than they can as two separate individuals. Marriage is a beautiful thing between a man and a woman. And I think that the more we work on ourselves, the better we can be for our partner, the better we can be for friendships, the better we can be for relationships, the better we can be for marriage. And so that's my testimony. That's why I wrote the book. And the funny thing is that after I wrote the book, I still wasn't even following it. Like, it took God convicting me and saying, man, okay, you have this great book, this resource that you've been telling people about, but you yourself are not even following it. You're not being consistent in your own words. And that messes with a person's mind when you can look at a finished product and you can look at the pages and you can look at the words on the page and you can look at what God has done through you, but still be disobedient in the things that you want other people to follow. It can mess with your mind. And it got to a point where I told myself, I do not want to live like this anymore. I don't want to live like this anymore. That double life where one minute you're doing something according to the word, the next minute you're doing something that's totally against the word. It's the inconsistent life. And I told myself, I do not want to live like this anymore. And it's got me to a place where I'm being more consistent. I'm being more thorough in what I do and what I don't do. And it's a beautiful feeling. I'm thankful that I'm 35. I'm looking forward to what God has for me. I'm looking forward to helping people. I'm looking forward to relating to people. And I'm looking forward to becoming healthier. So whoever is watching this video, if I have offended you, if I have come across in a way that was not biblical or spiritual, if I have done something that was inappropriate, I truly apologize, because my main intention is to serve God. And I can take responsibility for my actions. I can, and I have. And I'm moving forward, and I'm so excited about what God is going to do in my life, because I've decided to submit to Him, to submit to His will for my life, and to begin the process, actually to continue the process of growing in God. And I hope you will do the same thing. My name is Bobby Sneed. I love y'all. Take care.